opening screen stream start timer because I need to at least check to see if things are working at a very base level. So that's the small trade-off. Although, all things considered, it's not like I have you waiting long, usually anyway. Most of the time, no more than a minute or two. So as we get into some Yumiko runs, because I did have a thing planned with custom content, and then I realized it wasn't going to go well for me. Also, we're working on all achievements, right? Okay. Just making sure before we move on. We'll hit quick play just to randomize things for Yumiko, and I will just do the stream. It's going to be a more casual stream. I usually like to space out my Nuzlocks with at least a day, although I could just go hard on the Nuzlocke challenge, though that may or may not be for the best. But as we do Fatalist, and I think we had something else. What am I looking at again? Oh, Cthulhu. So he's getting to our first run of Cthulhu Fatalist character exclusive Yumiko, and it could have been all perks, but let's stick with some Yumiko perks for most of our runs. So I'll decide that on my whim. I swear I'm not trying to make things easier. Yeah, I'm still playing Stardew. Again, this is a chill stream, so anyone tuning in or anyone from the future, if you want to ask, you can ask at that time. But light, knowledge, strength, blah blah. Second, 8 charisma. Yeah, still playing a lot of Stardew. I think I'm gonna keep doing more Stardew videos for the upcoming. If I miss one though, but at the same time, I do want to do Stardew anyway. I do want to play more Stardew anyway because I feel like it's high time. And I think this, well, I forgot to fill the bottle. I think it's high time. Well, one, I think it's high time that I get it off my plate. And two, well, there's always more that can be on my plate. But what I'm trying to say is, if this is not the... That's lucky, by the way. If this is not the final big update of Stardew, then, I mean, it's a big one regardless. I feel like somewhere someone said that it was supposed to be the biggest... or the final big Stardew update. I think the developer said that somewhere. But maybe I'm hallucinating. Also, I immediately hear my congestion. So that's... Oof. Also, I should actually just do this as well. But yes, if it's not, again, even if it's not the final update or final big update, either or, and, then yes, I should just get a good piece of World of Horror anyway. I don't know why I had to do that many, but I guess I'll just do this. And we'll move on. Yeah, so it's not great. It's the spring season, so yeah, I'm gonna sound bad. Also, I do run around outside during the morning to try and get things done. It's not like I do it often, or it's not like I do it for a long time, but even just a little, being exposed outside, whether it's pollen or anything, just, yeah, makes me not feel good. So, normally I should just take medicine, but as I've said before, resources are scarce where I'm at, so I do need to make the choice. And the choice is, well, yeah, I don't sound great, or no one really sounds great while they're making content or streaming. It's this or not stream at all, which I don't think is even better, so shrug. At the same time, actually, I do have, obviously we have medicine here and there, but I completely forgot about it. It's not often that I do it, and I'm not someone who usually likes, I don't like really taking medicine if at all possible. I swear it's not a macho man thing, it's just I don't like, it sounds poetic and it sounds like excuses anyway, but I usually like to try and let my body figure it out. Now, obviously, if it's a bit serious, the reason why medicine was invented was so that you can avoid getting sick in the first place. It's kind of, well, it is a science, one, but also it exists to make you feel better. So it's what humans have learned to use so that we don't suffer. But I think I'm just gonna swing for the fences here. And if I end up doing a thing, if I end up muting my microphone here and there, it's because I just need to clear the sinuses. That is some of the time why I am muting the microphone. But also, sometimes I need to sneeze or something, you know. I have the control, I might as well use it to my advantage. And also, I don't want to be sneezing in front of your face, so I think that's not a bad idea. But as we save Kana here, yeah, that's really lucky. We don't have Ward, that we know because we checked the illegal den. And did not see a single thingamajiggy. Professionally speaking, yes, I should treat this congestion before I stream, but I didn't really get to do that, so we'll move on. Meanwhile, Yumiko having quite of an okay time here. We didn't even level up yet, but soon we will. We're just looking for swing and hit. Not really much to Yumiko gameplay in terms of, hey, you're trying to do your best. Also, I'm seeing a thing going wrong, and I'm hoping that it's not so bad, but... Ah! My body! Yeah, so if anyone else shares allergies too, you know what I mean, but if you're streaming or making content, do your best to clear it up. Because obviously, you can hear it. I mean, I don't think I've... Well, actually, I think there have been a few times I've gotten to the point where I sound like... I sound like this, but... For the most part, it's... I can usually go through it. Now, does it sound good in recording? That's something completely different to talk about. And for the most part, no. The answer's no right now, but... again, it's either that or don't make videos at all, or streams, and I don't want to do that, so... Hey, let's tell a story. Check starting videos. I've only been playing on min-maxing, or obviously. So if you've been watching the min-max at the beginning of the first 5 to 10 seconds, I'm loading my save. So the one that I'm playing on video is the min-max save, and then there's another one that's obviously a lot farther in year 2. So that's the one I'm kind of, you know, my personal one. But I mean, it's not really that. It's not really anything fancy, basically. And then there used to be a third one, but that one I really missed out because that one, that was me testing out min-maxing at first, and then I realized I should just make videos on it because I feel like I want to record my progress, and so I did. And so what happens is I found out how important it is to get your fishing level to 2. But from 4 to 6, after the first few days, then you could kind of start diverging. But you definitely wanted, or I definitely found out the hard way that I wanted to... When you're fishing on day 3 for min-maxing, you want to be at least level 2, or level 3, or 2 or 3, whatever. I'm going crazy. I'm actually going to reroll here, because swing and hit is that important. But yeah, I've been playing 2 saves, basically. And I'd like to do more, but any more than that, I might be cutting into time. Oh my goodness, I can hear my voice going absolutely crazy. So, hold up. Yeah, 31 hours, your jungler said, yeah, so yeah, it's AFK, so it's really not anything, it's just AFK. It's just AFK hours. So if I allowed my Steam profile to be read, it would say that I had about, I'm not even joking, it would probably say like 168 hours on Stardew Valley in the past week, which is, yeah, just, because if I turn it off, what happens is I have to turn off a whole setup, which means I have to set everything back up for like 10-20 minutes, which is not good. And yeah, so that yeah, that's the gist of things. Also, I'm sitting on 2 baseball bats. But we're on timeline A, so reflect triangle, yeah, reflect triangle, and we'll move on. Hello there. But yeah, it's it's fake time, and that's why I mean I do think game time is a good indicator of more than a few people's, you know, experience with the game. But at the same time, if it's not to be taken for, you know, it's not a direct it's not as much of a correlation to a player's skill level in a game, if nothing, or abilities, or whatever the heck whatever you want to say. So don't worry about it. If you're not here for past streams, listen, you have your own life. I do appreciate when you can make it, but if you can't, don't feel too pressured not to. The most important part is that we're all comfortable here having fun, or it's a big part of it. Obviously, there is some what do we want to say? I don't want to make it sound weird, but there is some stuff. I don't want to say the word isn't profit, but I'll just use it for now. There is some self-interest, I guess, self-interest in streaming here, obviously, but at the same time, not everyone streams on whatever platform you're on for self-interest. Although it is a big part of it for a lot of people. But part of the reason why I made this channel too is just for self-improvement. It is a personal thing, but at this point, I mean, when a ball gets rolling, you make the ball roll more. Oh my goodness, my congestion, my voice, but... Do I want to do this? I think I do, right? 12 HP? Oh my goodness, I get really close. I think I can do this instead. Also been busy doing your own stream. Yeah, that's... I do know more than a few people in the World of Horror community that play World of Horror a lot, actually stream and or make videos on their own anyway, so... I mean, you really can't. People think that a lot of streamers, you know, watch other streamers too, because why wouldn't they? But it turns out when you're making your own content, whether it's videos and or streams, yeah, you don't have as much time than you think to do unless you're trying to multitask, but that's a whole other issue entirely. But yeah, anywho. Yeah, and again, some people can. Some people can, it's just that more than a few people cannot, because that's just how time goes, like, especially when you get busy doing a lot of other things, so... That's not an excuse for me, but I know that it's a case for other people, at least if we're to believe more than the handful of people, or if I'm to believe the more than a handful of people that I've listened to talking about this problem, but anywho. Yeah, I think I should just let Asada go now before any weird things happen, and before the dog gets any angrier. You know what? Yeah. 4 stamina, but I could run to Snoo Monster and the Kinoko Gather. That's, well, at this point now we can't, but wouldn't be a bad idea regardless. Both of these are going to end terribly for me, but hey. Honestly, watching me, not even for the... Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's part of the thing. I mean, there are ups and downs. You do want to... Some people want to specialize on the game. That's perfectly fine. In fact, it's actually... I think it's actually a good idea, too. And then some people become, I guess... Depending on the platform, a personality. And so what brings people back is the personality. Neither way is incorrect. You just have to know what you're... You know, you have to know when to get the keep the ball rolling. And among other things, and timing, and predicting things. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. Quite meta, yeah. People are still waiting for the update, obviously, as well. I know that's getting to people for good reason. Well, achievements now, I just want to play something else for a bit, and yeah, in my case, that something else is Stardew Valley. Among with the other things I have in my backlog that I could just play, but... Usually, again, if I want to play a game at this point, I also want to throw it up on my channel. So, and at this point, I do want to think about how to grow the channel as well. Even though I just said, oh my goodness, Metamorphosis Last Mystery, even though I just said that the channel is also a personal project as well, but at the same time, I mean, it's a whole thing. Yeah, so I've been hearing that people have been eating good in the multiplayer department as well. So Splatoon 3, among with other things, obviously still Helldivers. Also, we're gonna use this to the utmost efficiency. No, you know what? For giggles, I'm not going to. So we're just gonna run. But yeah, again, it is what it is. And since the game's come out, I mean, yes, you could argue that at this point, the old ways should die, but at the same time, it's for the community, it's normal. That doesn't excuse it, but hey, I think I want to actually run again. So we'll take it here. Obviously, if I did the Burning Man improvise pseudo infinite, then yes, I would be okay here, but for the purposes of playing around, let's see. But yeah, looking at other games, and I obviously have gachas running at the side as well. I mean, gachas are good. Well, depending on the gacha, obviously certain games are not good for AFK. This is not a sponsorship for a certain journey, but I mean, it depends on what you're looking for too. If you want to get into a game, but the gacha is not allowing you to play the game, and it's more an AFK / grind grind experience, it's not for some people, but for me, gachas that I'm more likely to play are ones that I can AFK, if I feel like it, while also being able to play if I so desire. But that's not true for some people. I know more than a few people who are playing gachas right now, and they want to actually play a game. Even though 95% of them reach a point where you're going to be grinding anyway. But hey, oh my goodness, I can hear my congestion. Playing a lot of Stardew Monster Hunter, yeah, and a lot of other people, content creators, streamers, or otherwise, people just playing on their own, are playing Monster Hunter as well. Rock and roll, yes. Dexterity, yeah, none of this is gonna go well for me. I should actually just heal stamina, considering we're at the end. And if I die here, it's just me forgetting. I shouldn't have forgotten, but boy. Let me see here. I should be able to survive here, right? Yeah, I don't have the dexterity check. Nothing really weird should happen. We don't even have Takshisan, so these cigarettes are not going to do anything else for me, but... If I die to the second check, I mean, I'll take the moral victory. Again, this is more a chill stream regardless, if for no other reason than to get some more Yumiko gameplay in, because Yumiko needs it. If I can't quick play into Yumiko, which is the primary games mode selection on this channel, then yeah, I need to play Yumiko myself. We did nail second. Enjoying Monster Hunter Rise, and yeah, more than a few people are getting back into World again. I think I never really I understand it now when it's explained to me, but I don't remember, by the way. But the point, the reason why people are playing, because again, at first I thought people would just play Rise, but it makes sense. I've talked about this before, but when so more than a few people bought World, and World is also very comfortably cross-platform, I believe. So that's why more than a few people are still playing World, especially compared to Rise. Now I'm just curious. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna look this up on SteamDB. Or no, wait, there's no way. There's no way, because I can't track Rise on Switch. Anywho, never mind, I lied. But as we get into Goizo Ill-Fated character exclusive Yumiko, again, it's not like everyone is doing Rise. There are more than a handful of World streams. Again, if there's another reason for it, let me know. But I feel like again, that was explained to me, and I was like, okay, I see it. Because a lot of people, if for no other reason, when it popped, and so a lot of people are playing it. But also because, yeah, it's just more readily available for everyone to when they're looking for other people to play with anyway. Charisma, knowledge, strength, Takshisan, second encounter, and maybe dexterity. That too, and yeah, obviously if they update it, they update it. I actually need to reroll here until we get to swing and hit. It's just that important. Now I'm just curious, but... yeah, 16 Doom is quite a lot. We'll deal with it, though. We are on Ill-Fated, so I do need to be careful, but... yeah, if a game gets updated, then yes. But at the same time, it's not like they added, like, monsters, right? That's the usual update, but again, at the same time, whenever a game gets updated, people are going to come back, so that's just usually the nature of the beast. Metamorphosis, Kana, Hell, Arms, footage. So I understand, in that regard, why more people come back. Turns out, supporting a game as a developer or, you know, as the creator of a game makes the game, you know, revives the game a little bit, however little it may be. Oh my goodness. And the same can be said for Pal World when that arena/PvP update becomes available for everyone. Everyone. Not just... because I think it was, like, tested somewhere, right? Anywho. I don't know for sure, but if someone lets you know, then someone lets you know. Yeah, if there was a world update, I wouldn't doubt it, though. If nothing else, some kind of total update that makes it so that basically people can play the... and I think I do have it on my channel. Yeah, I checked this recently. The Behemoth quest, although that's a collab, so I understand why that might not actually come back specifically. But... you know, so because I don't think Behemoth is available anymore. That was a limited time offer, and if nothing else, the extreme version of that was definitely a limited time offer. So, yeah. But otherwise, again, if nothing else, I know a lot of people are playing World. That's just it's something that you can observe. It's observable data. Because otherwise, everyone would be playing Rise. But obviously, we know that's not the case. So, yeah. I mean, again, since I haven't been playing I obviously don't have stopped playing Monster Hunter for a while. Then I don't know what the exact deal is. But if there again, as I've said before. There is still value to an opinion that is not knowledgeable. It's just that you have to know where the worth or not the worth, the value lies. And it's definitely not in, me giving you advice or being able to talk about the state of the game. So road's closed, by the way, which is not going to be great, but we'll deal with it. And we'll move on. I think I just want to take Metamorphosis now out of fear of bad things happening. Or my HP being even lower than it can be. Man, I sound really congested. Is this actually free? It is. But let's also actually use the police station because I forgot to. But yeah, otherwise, as I said before, I'm a third fleeter, and by that I mean I started playing Monster Hunter back in Try on the Wii, which was, oof. Man, I think, I might even get it wrong, but Legiacris in the water, that was... And I primarily played Sword and Shield, so I was mainly SNS, as my videos show on this channel, so woo. Updated January since then, kept on doing a series of Return to World, which made players remember the game still existed. Even though I think I'd even go farther to say that, it's just it brought back life. It brought back more life into the game that was already there because people were still playing World anyway. I know some people did not make the jump to Rise. Most people did, but more than a handful. Not as much as you would suspect for a game that, has from World to Rise or from 1 to 2. When games update to a new part, usually almost everyone transfers. And yeah, you get the devoted few, but I think World was in a situation where people still played World. It's just that they may have touched Rise, obviously. But, people still played World when they had the chance. I personally know people that are still playing World as well with other friends, and that's also because those friends, some of them didn't get Rise, so, if you can't believe that, it's the same as me not believing that, no, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say because that's incorrect, but you get the point. There were some people who didn't make the jump, so yeah. And I think Rise available on Steam now? Why am I going crazy? Well, this is how much I really don't know about Monster Hunter, but I want to keep focusing on World of Horror for the moment, so... I mean, I can look this up on the side, but... Yeah, anywho. But yeah, as games jump forward and back and into new parts, as we get into Wilds, that should be the real... I mean, there'll be more people transitioning from... Rise to, or making the full transition from Rise to Wilds, in my opinion, from Rise to Wilds, than from World to Rise. And I can't explain the exact reason why at the moment, but I feel like that's the case. If I had to put money down, or at least, so. Anywho. We're in a lot of pain, by the way. I don't think we die yet, but yeah. And I always believed that for some reason that Wilds was on, Wilds is coming out this summer, but but it's not. It's, Dawn Trail in this summer, and then Wilds next year, so. This year is the year of the RPG, basically. There's a lot of RPG, I mean, every game of the year is pretty much going to be an RPG. But if Wilds came out, Wilds would obviously be a contender. Oh my goodness, my voice. I mean, all I can do is apologize. I should have gotten taken care of that. But when I stream 3 days in a row, again, my point about medicine is I usually don't like taking medicine back to back, unless obviously there's a good reason to. This is just more a personal me thing. Like if I was dying or something, then yes, I would do that. Also, we're just going to take quick thinking over swift maneuver. And we will move on. So yeah, I'm also checking SteamDB at the side, because I'm curious. I mean, no, actually it would, right? So I'm kind of talking to myself because I'm curious. Feel like 2024 is just dry for game. Is it? It's. I don't feel it is. Starting with Helldivers and Infinite Wealth. That like, I know I'm going to say it's not because I literally see on my feed at least 3 different. Just talking about content creators, 3 different content creators who have not been able to finish Infinite Wealth up until now because Reload and then Rebirth came out back to back. And then there's Helldivers 2, and then there's, even just in the more indie game department, we have, what was I going to say? There is, on top of just Lethal Company updates, but you get the point. Now I'm just curious. Now I actually, again, this is a chill stream. I won't take too much time away from World of War, but I want to look at this now. There have been more than enough games coming in out that, at least for the general public. Obviously, if you're in certain genres, there may be a little bit of a... There may be a lull. There's always a lull of some sort, as I pretty much die here, because, yeah, we're gonna fail that. I don't think we survive, so... But anywho. Yeah, the middle, again, people still have stuff on their backlog, and I personally know at least a few people, too, who have games on their backlog. But obviously, if you're smashing through the games, then yes, you... That's not a fair argument, is it, though? That's not actually fair when I think about it. I'm hitting quick play to randomize. Colt Herald. Let me just set that up first, before I continue what I wanted to talk about. So, Yumiko, Colt, Herald, and nothing else, so literally get into that. But, yeah, so it's not fair to say that people who can just smash out games, because that's always going to be true, is what I'm trying to say. If you're going to smash out games for like a good month, you're going to smash out games. We're talking more the general public, I think, is the fair kind of guideline to go. When you're talking about like when you put out the general statement like the year or this time of year, not just this time like at present, but at any point in time, as we have second encounter strength, light, dexterity, charisma, and Takushi-san, that is dry, then you have to think about more the... It might be true for you or me personally, but it's not true for the general... more even just like general gamers, not general audience. General audience, that like it's near impossible to finish every game. But yeah, when you're focused on playing games, but also, you know, trying to do other things on the side, like if you haven't set aside a time, and this is, again, we're even including people who set aside a time, whereas we take Connor right here. Oof. Yeah, there's a lot on the back plate. Again, both content creators, streamers, and people I personally know in real life who are not said streamers and content creators, and I'm not trying to say, just to set it out there, now that I think about it, I'm not trying to say that if you have no life, obviously you're going to complete games. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, even for people who, you know, have all the spare time in the world, and to set aside for games, like they focus on games as a primary part of their life, you still have a backlog right now. And then Dragon's Dogma 2 came out, so trying to find the time for all of these games, it's not happening. And then there's also when you get into the nitty gritty, there's also, well, how well versed are you in those games? Which is not true for everyone, but that's what I mean by it's a you or me thing. If you concentrate on whether or not you're good at a game, how much you know about the game, like actually know about the game, compared to people who focus on that game, then again, you have a lot on your plate. I think it's a lot for people to have on their plate. So, but then, yeah, I'm not going so far on one spectrum to say for the general audience or general audience or consumer, you should be this far. But at the same time, I'm also not going as far as to say you set aside a whole month to, you know, I'm talking more the general gamers. So kind of more in the middle. Again, I think that's a fair assessment. Also, I locked myself out of actions because I put more than 5, but yeah. Again, though, that's not to say anyone's opinion is invalid, and I even include myself. And the reason why I do want to harp on this is because it's really easy to forget, and it's really easy for more than a few people to transition into a me sort of thing. There is because things are sometimes presented as fact when they are more opinion, and Again, there is value in both, but presenting an opinion as fact is a really easy thing that I think more than a few people do, myself included. That's why I have to catch myself whenever I say this applies to me, or this is my opinion, or I'm trying to present something as fact. But if it's not a fact, let me know if I'm mistaken, because that's, yeah, it's really easy to slowly turn something into your mind into a fact when it's not. But and vice versa. So it's easy to turn a fact into an opinion, and there are occasions where that's bad as well, even though that sounds weird to say. Trust me, it can be bad. Also, we have Recluse, Flood, and Metamorphosis, so I'm about to experience a lot of pain, but... What are we on? Herald? Not Herald. Just Cult? Yeah. Ugh. What do I do here? I guess we try to find our way through Metamorphosis, because there's no way I'm taking Recluse in so much pain. Do I have anything else I can do? I didn't fill the empty bottle. Or maybe I drank it. Anywho. I'm thinking of what to do. Also muting the mic because things, but... I don't think I can survive Recluse right now. But at the same time, we don't survive Flood either. Because we need Swing and Hit. This is... We took Kana with us, right? That's the whole reason. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in this. Yeah, so, you know, since we took Kana, in a weird way, we're in a better situation. If I do Recluse correctly, I should survive still. Yeah, that's the... Yeah, I think we should still survive. Because for the most part, as we kind of hone in on... As we focus on World of Horror for a bit, you do have a lot of control in a lot of Recluse events. You just don't want to run into things like that if you really need the reason, or other things. I think there's like a -2 reason event here. Just guaranteed, but... Otherwise, we want to make sure we have at least 5 reason. That's the bare minimum, because we only take 2 reason damage right now, so hey. Well, I put in Monster on SteamDB, and I find everything but Monster Hunter. But yeah, I mean, again, this is not... Again, the value in what I'm doing on the side here is that this is only on Steam. This does not account for things on console, unless it somehow does, but I don't think it does. But let me see here. So 15,000 in-game right now in Rise, and 57,000 in-game on World. So, yeah. Again, there's a reason for it. I just don't know all the contributors, because it's not just one reason, right? There's more than a few. But anywho. But yeah, just to repeat that again, 57,000 in-game right now in World, and 15,000 in-game on Rise. On Steam, anyway. But, again, I feel like because World was more readily available for people, just in general, because I think World is also available on Xbox as well, right? Not just on now PC and also PlayStation. So, Rise is only on Switch and now PC, but you get the point. Mindset should be Stardew and Monster Hunter are good. Just enjoy it, not think about what's coming. Yes, that's true. To a small degree, unfortunately, for me anyway. It's that I should enjoy all of these games. It's just there's so many of them. That's a good thing, actually. That's why I didn't believe when, you know, when it was mentioned that we're in a dry state, because I actually haven't finished Rebirth. I watched someone else finish Rebirth, so... Yeah. Ow! My face! But anywho. Played Rise for 30 hours, only see 3 new monsters. Yeah. I mean, part of Monster Hunter now is that we're waiting for people to... People are when monsters come back, funny enough. Which was the case for... I think, the one of note for me was Valstrax, but... You know. We're going to trade stamina for reason here, but we do need to rest immediately. The curse from playing Monster Hunter 1 on the PS2. And yeah, and obviously I've seen a few people try out Monster Hunter 1 just to see how quote-unquote bad it was. Again, I played since Try, so I know how bad it can be. When you have to stop to literally do everything. But that's part of the fun, because yeah, people could call that lack of quality of life, and to an extent it is true, but at the same time there was also a skill to knowing when to stop to drink that potion, and then you flex, And you know you have enough time to stop and flex after you drink that potion, basically. But anywho. Otherwise, if you play a level, you only see the Magnum Hollow, Valstrax pretty much. Yeah. And that's what I just talked about Valstrax too, so... on the back of my mind, I maybe should have gotten the fleshy toy so I can... Oh my goodness, robots don't hurt me! It's a game called Fleshy Toy, but increasing my max reason, basically. But I didn't need it because we have Kana and Theologist, so hey. Want the old healing back? Yeah, so... Yeah, people stopping to do it. Yeah, the innovation that is, hey, hunters have now figured out how to use items while moving. However slow it might be. And now we have the wire bug in Rise, though you had the clutch claw in Iceborne, I think. Was it Iceborne? Not just World, yeah. In World, it was Iceborne that you got the clutch claw. And then people like that, so they're like, oh, so just now wire bug. Which some people want. You could say that wire bug made things quote unquote too easy, but I think it still added. I think it was still that more that it added more flavor to it, but you know. I don't look down on even if it were by design meant to streamline and make things easier for people. I think there is merit to that, regardless. If it's not, again, throw that out the window. Do I want to fight this, by the way? No, I don't. We're also sitting on a lot of Doom, so... But yeah, it's... I think Wirebug was a good, healthy addition. It's just that... Yeah, for whatever reason, people still stuck with the world. A lot more than you would believe. We'll take this 3 reason, by the way. I might as well fight something. As my nose is congested again. Ah! I also never used the police station. Let's just do it to the forest. And we'll move on. But yeah, we'll do that, and then I can look at this. So the last 3 months. So the last 3 months of Monster Hunter World. So at the end of February, it kind of continued dipping, but at the beginning of March, it shot up, almost doubled. No, it did double, and for the duration of March, it stayed doubled until mid-April when it started peaking down. Again, if you can look at this up right now, it is literally. I'm looking at the Steam DB charts. Where now it's back on the rise, but I think a good part of that is because streamers/content creators have started playing it again. And lo and behold, when, you know, channels or streamers that are popular play a game, turns out people start playing it again. Am I gonna survive this, by the way? We're gonna find out. Meanwhile, for... Oh no, that's Rise. That's Rise. This is Rise. I'm looking at Rise. That's Rise. What I just said was for Rise. For World, however, World is a... In the past 3 months, well, pretty much the same trend, except it's more, it stays around the 80,000 player mark. So, literally the same pattern in both games. Also, eating -3 all. Do we somehow survive this? I don't know if we do. This only does 12 damage, and I need more than that. So what I actually have to do is this. Can I do this? No, I can't. We actually don't do as much damage with this. 4 damage for -1 all, or 12 damage for -3 all. Pretty much the same. The difference is that I don't have the stamina to survive this. If I just do this over and over. If I brace, I have a chance. But anywho. 85%, we might as well roll. The main arguments of playing World vs. Rise is because Rise's art style switched to like graphic quality and the wire bugs, and also the online on Rise is not working as intended, and yeah, that's... I'll leave those things as be. I don't want to touch those reasons with a stiff stick, but even though I do admit... I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying that those are definitely contributing factors from what I know and understand. I think we can do this, right? Yeah. This should be 14 damage. And then you would need to install, yeah, so that I'm not advocating for anything, I'm just acknowledging that that has been said. And those have been things that I've heard before, so... Yeah, and then that being said, it's not like World is that outdated as well, especially now that you have the Clutch Claw, so you don't, it's not wire bug mechanics, because obviously you have wire bug attacks, you have whole mechanics that center around the wire bug, recovery as well, but World is not far back where it's like, it feels like, I mean, in a way, they both feel like different games anyway, so you're getting a different experience in both, I think, in my opinion. Not blaming anyone who says that Rise is bad, it's highly flawed, and it's all the fault of the creators. So again, I won't say anything about that because I don't know as much. I obviously didn't play Rise, so I would not be a good indicator. I have played a lot of World though, and I will at least say that that game is definitely solid. But yeah, anywho, you know what? Out of interest, Hiroyuki Ryoko. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine for now. Yeah, all I know is that there are a lot more people playing World right now as opposed to Rise. Actually, out of curiosity. Again, this is just on Steam. All peak for Rise is 230,000. All peak for World is 330,000. Again, this is on Steam PC. But in general, on average, World has more players on Steam PC than Rise, which, you know, I'm not saying that Rise. I'm just making a note of that. That is literally the numbers I'm reading on screen. There are also other stats that I can read out right now, which is kind of interesting, but I'll do that as I'm investigating. So let me see. Is there anything else? No. So 1.8k viewers on Twitch watching Monster Hunter World. 344 viewers on Twitch watching Rise. So that, again, I mean, I'm just reading numbers out loud, but it's not anything surprising given what I just said about the number of players playing right now. And again, the fact that more than a few handful of people are also streaming / making videos on World helps it out as well. But as we take our 70% Doom and enter the lighthouse, with time skip, never mind, I forget what I said. That's right, I'm on Herald. Yeah, we're gonna keep doing Yumiko things. We'll go for another good 45 minutes, at least. I feel like that's enough for Yumiko. I'm actually just gonna blindly go up this tower. Am I? No, I'm not. I need to rest once. But yeah, so after the stream, I'm gonna be cooking. So, because I'm hungry. But anywho. Specifically making spaghetti. I can make a few dishes. I wouldn't say I'm a cook, but listen, when I'm in the mood for tortillas or tacos, I know how to make that. If I'm in the mood for some soup and broth, I know how to make that. Spaghetti, as I said, I'm gonna make that. I've talked about how I make spaghetti before. I guess I might as well because I've already put it on paper. So the way I make spaghetti is I cook the ground beef. I cook ground beef or ground pork, but usually ground beef. And so I do that. And then after that is when I start boiling water. I don't usually do this at the same time. No. What am I talking about? That's backwards. I boil water first, and then I make the spaghetti. Then I strain the spaghetti, and then I cook the ground beef, usually in the same utensil. So that's why I figured out how it was. I was doing it backwards because it would make no sense for me to make the ground beef, then the sauce, and somehow use the same utensil to boil and make the spaghetti. I don't eat my spaghetti al dente usually. Obviously, if someone serves it to me and it's done, you know, I won't complain, especially if it tastes good. But also, I feel like this was a very. I know I got Zektas. What else did I have? Knight Errant. That's what it was. So yeah, I boil the water, make the spaghetti after the water boils, however much time it needs. I usually like it a bit softer, so I leave it in for an extra minute or two. Maybe more. Then I strain that, wash that bowl out, and then I use that same bowl to make the sauce, which I start by basically just cooking ground beef. And after the ground beef's cooked, I just add, you know, whatever I use to make the sauce. Some people add vegetables. I personally, you know, if I'm going minimalistic, just the sauce, but if I had the luxury, I would add a bit more. But that essentially amounts to up to a $20 meal. A little bit more if I'm trying to feed more than myself, but you get the point. So charisma, knowledge. If you have strength, so be it. I'm just making a quick note of the lighthouse, but we are a knight errant, so I want to be a bit wary of my doom. Flood, ward, footage, vigil, mermaids. Tell me I set the illegal den, by the way. We're about to find out. No, I did not, so this is gonna hurt a lot. Not as much as it could, but... And then I think we have Vigil as well, so we might as well just set this... Let's set the police patrols to the mansion. And away I go. Knowing that I'm gonna do what I'm going to do, though, I think I'm gonna pop the inspiring novel during Ward to try and get timeline A or ending A there, and that'll be the decision I make. But meanwhile, we're gonna have a tough time in footage with the Knight Errant penalty, unless I get events like that. And then we'll do other things. I actually might just equip the small candle in Vigil, just to run away. Because we're keeping in mind that we also have, I think we're on Zektas right now, right? So our Yumiko value is going to drop as Doom increases. Now, whether it drops quickly or not quickly is completely up to me. So, hey. That's not good, though. That's really not good. That's really not good. That was absolutely terrible. That is what I usually meme about, but it happens more often than you'd like to believe, so... Now, for better or worse, we entered an encounter, but this is not actually better than investigating with cut artery. But in the interest of not Zektasting myself quicker than possible, then we're just going to do this. Still cut artery, by the way. I think this is the worst, one of the worst starts to a run I have ever had. Cut artery stuck in forest. Footage, specifically. And this is with mansion investigation, so... Knight Errant Zektast immediately. Yeah, I don't know what Yumiko does here. I think we just equipped a small candle, I think. And hope for the best. So we have a bottle of water to mitigate the cut artery damage, but the problem... is that our combat capabilities drop immense... Oh, we have flood as well. What do I do? I think we actually want to pop the inspiring novel in Flood. Now that I'm looking at this, but let's enter... not Flood. Let's enter Ward now so I can at least get rid of this hot garbage. Funny enough, I think Out of Funds is going to be doing less damage to me than... keeping the funds and running into events. Maybe. We'll see. Meanwhile, 3 knowledge into... Yeah, this is... Well, we equipped the small candle for a reason. It would actually have been really nice to have been on all perks, because that would be the balancing factor for us, but it's not going to happen, so... Basically, we're trying to complete this run under 84% Doom because there's a very, very small chance that I get to increase all of my stats by 1 on this specific run. It's not impossible, and in fact, it's actually more likely than you think. It's just... Yumiko suffers a lot in Zektast. So we're trying to make the most of our Doom, and if we can, we can. If not, die. So we'll do Strength first because there are no Strength perks. Also, we accidentally rested because you hit buttons behind the level up screen. I don't know why. It's a bug, but it's not a high priority bug. It's just, it does make a difference. Wow, we actually can't prep attack. We get 8 damage per. Because we at least have swing and hit, but it's not good still. It's very not good. But if we don't want to keep running, this is what we're going to have to do. As we continue to be stuck inward. Now, we could just end up dying here as well, but this is, at this point, RNG is so bad that I would not blame anyone for dying. This is quite terrible. And the Knight Errant penalty on top of running away here is going to be 11 Doom, so that's why we're going to try to actually fight this. We can... but we take 4 stamina damage for it. We're about to go into Flood, so it's not as bad as it could be as long as I handcuff correctly. I could have thrown the Lucky Bat as well, but if we're gonna 2-turn, we're gonna 2-turn. Also, let me just make sure that everything is still working as intended, because if I didn't see something in chat, just let me know. Because at times... Actually, I wouldn't have known if the chat freezes, but you get the point. Into Flood I go. I think we survived this still. I should have popped the inspiring novel before this. It's a bit late, I think. Yeah. We survived still. It's just, it would have been great to do a lot better. Should you give World a 5th try? I mean, if you well, no, because people are. What I'm trying to say is, if you're trying to have a social experience, then I mean the solo queue experience is solo queue, right? It's always gonna be a lot of funny seeing people cart here left and right. I think that's still the case. Again, I haven't played World for a while. I forgot to rest. Oh wait, I can't rest. That's right. Yeah, I haven't played World in forever. I wasn't supposed to actually trade Doom there. But if you're looking for just a solo experience, I mean, it's at your own discretion. I don't know what your experience is going to be like exactly. I can try to take a guess, but it wouldn't be actually accurate, so the least of what I can say is it'll definitely be a different experience. That I will guarantee you. Now, whether or not you'll like it or not, more than a few have liked it, but more than a few want to stay in Rise and have the wire bug, and among other things. But again, it also depends. If you have a bunch of friends to play with, obviously that enhances any experience. If you just want to, if you want to look for a different solo experience, again, I don't know what the difference is exactly, but from most of, I mean, even if I were to come back to any game that had a solo queue experience, it would be a matter of, you know, watching people either destroy a monster, but more often than not, be destroyed by the monster. So, especially if that monster is still named Electrion. But Electrion? Am I going crazy? Am I saying something completely different? Anywho. Never been able to get into World because you tried Rise first and the Wonders of the Wire Bugs. Oh, well that's... yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know that. So, the jump, or the leap back from Rise to World, again, I'll say it's a different experience. And that's all I can really say. 66% Doom here, we're probably not going to survive. We've eaten way too much Doom, and Zektas has lowered my stats way too much. Yeah, I mean, this is... there wasn't much to expect here. It's Zektas and Knight Errant as a Yumiko. Now, Yumiko has an easier time with certain ending A's, but in general, Yumiko is not going to have a fun time because Zektas does make it that much harder if I were to kind of review my current situation. But talking about the chill topics, which are World and Rise... I would, if I had to put money down, I would say you would be like, oh, World feels so slow. But actually, in terms of the mental stack, and by mental stack I mean what you're trying to deal with when you're fighting a monster in both games, I think the mental stack is still quite high in both games. It's just that World, yes, you are slower as a character, but there's still a lot to think about as you're fighting a monster in World. Especially when you're trying to kill it quickly, basically. Or be efficient on damage. But I will say Rise is at least from my observations, Rise is faster pace, certainly. But World is by no means that much slower. Because there's a lot to think about. And I know that because I've played pretty much... I didn't get fully into Iceborne, but pretty much at the beginning of Iceborne is where I stopped playing. So... Did I do this, by the way? I don't think I did this. Clap, bow, bow, clap. Let me just make sure. Okay, I didn't. Yeah, so as someone who's fought a lot in World, there is definitely a lot to... You're still thinking quite quickly in World, let's just say. You look a lot slower, but... Listen, even though it feels like you move slower in that game, you still don't have a lot of time to think. And by that, I mean, I've also played more than enough FF14 as we die here to reason. And the we'll even be lenient and say 2.25 second GCD is fast for a lot of people. It's not fast for me. In those 2.25 seconds, that's actually quite slow. So, I don't know if that's me being, having prior experience trying to play fighting games professionally. I think it helps. It certainly helps. If you play fighting games and try to get serious or try to be efficient in fighting games, I think you'll find that a lot of other genres feel a lot slower. And so you have you have an easier time thinking through your moves, doing moves in other genres. So fighting games and to some extent shooters. But again, you have to be trying to be playing them optimally / efficiently. So as we get into Kathak, I don't remember the backstory. I'll just pick whatever. Again, we're here to have fun. So we'll do, actually we'll do Commoner, funny enough. Random item stats on. And move on. Again, if you see it, well, for me, when I saw an AoE telegraph coming in FF14, it's the slowest thing in the world. It's only, my problems with FF14 are mainly when I forgot about certain things, which is, again, if you've been with this channel, that's just a trait of me being me. But when an AoE comes out, when there's a telegraph going on, I have like all time in the world to react. The efficient part of FF14 though is making sure that you made every use of those of your distance. Well, again, because I mainly played melee, mainly played warrior, but basically I dodged wide basically, and dodging wide is not what you want to stay in for as long as possible because every missed auto attack does contribute a lot to your optimal DPS anyway. So dodging at the last second and not. And which sounds weird because yes, it's an online game. Whether you're using, whether you're trying to make your experience a lot smoother or not, there was a beauty in trying to figure out how long you could stay in. And it's easy to kind of blame the game for, oh, it's, there's latency. But again, I think there's some beauty in being able to skirt as much as possible while still dodging everything. Also, Commoner Yumiko is going to be a heck of a thing. I actually should just visit the History Club for Swing and Hit. But yeah, FF14 is, also, obviously, knowing a fight in general, turns out, helps a lot. Yeah, not just the raid, knowing a fight as well, because if it's not raid, and even at certain points, even in raid, unless it's obviously legendary, or ultimate, sorry, I'm thinking of another game entirely. This is not going to go well for me, so it's going to run. You kind of just eat mechanics in the face for more damage, literally. That's the whole thing. So, yeah, at this point, again, for me, it was that I just didn't have enough time anymore. Also, at Dotu, by the way, are we going to even survive this? I actually need to burn another library notes here. Yeah, that's not going to help. I think we can brace and be fine. Yeah, we can brace and be fine. Actually, we can immediately swing and hit. So, hey. That's interesting. Anywho. Oh, what? Really? We don't survive? Okay, cool. I'll do it again, but that was interesting. But, anywho. Yeah, I just didn't have enough time, but after a certain point, So this stream can also be named Reminiscence about games, but in this case, F14, you literally just stay in. If it's not raid, at minimum, you kind of stay in for mechanics, just eat Vuln up or whatever, because it makes the fight faster. The faster you can make things, the faster you can go. Now, that being said, I will say the solo queue experience was quite miserable. Both kind of, well, when I say objectively, I mean for most people solo queuing and whatnot, the experience was not good. And it's still not good, last I played, which was, a long time ago, but you get the point. And thankfully, we got Swing and Hit. And aside from that, it wasn't great in general. There are a handful. I mean, usually it wasn't bad. I've only had a few really toxic queues, from what I know. A lot of them were bad in various ways, whether it was, I don't mind if you don't know how to play a class or whatever, we'll work you through it, because if you're someone who can learn who learns, and especially in the instance can learn, then yes, it's a very good, it's still a very fulfilling experience, because you know that you've at least helped someone out through the day, and you could get through the experience. The bare minimum, obviously, is getting through the instance and succeeding, but obviously we've known situations where that's not true. And then other bad experiences, like the worst experiences, though, are ones where you have a very toxic chat, basically. By the way, do we even survive? Because this Lucky Bat is only doing 3 damage, so I think we get out if we hit both of these here, but yeah. And so, yeah, I can understand that if you're even with at least one other person queuing or doing content, then yes, it is an MMORPG, so obviously the experience is supposed to be for, playing with others, but playing with complete strangers, because you have to think about it this way. Do you trust, if you are solo queuing into an 8-man raid, do you trust the other 7 people to do their jobs to a level that you are comfortable with? And it depends on the content. And it's sad to say that sometimes that answer is yes, and sometimes that answer is yes. The answer is no. Hi there, I welcome every human being. If it is a robot, I hope it's not too weird. I'm hoping you're not a robot. Because I've had my share of that in the past. Not as much. Obviously, it's not a majority of my experience, but hey. But there was something else I wanted to say about FF14 that was kind of... Oh, yeah, so... Yeah, again, I think the last things I remember, funny enough, is actually playing the beginning of Stormblood, and or whenever Warrior got their nascent skills. Because I distinctly remember seeing Nascent, and everyone was like, oh, Warrior's watered down now. And I looked at what Nascent, Glare, and Flash did, and I was like, Warrior's amazing. And if you want me to explain why, I'll be more than glad. But anywho, yeah, this is, I mean, by genre, it is a horror game. Also, maybe I want to equip this bat. This bat actually, no. I just realized I entered Flood, but I think we should still be fine. We get at least 8 damage per turn. Well, it's not reliable, but we get up to 8 damage a turn. And we're fine. Again, at this point, there's no horror experience for me. I'm not really immersed in the horror part because if you don't know, I've played this game since early 2020. So I don't know all the in and outs, but I'm more than familiar enough with the game to... It's a different experience. If you're seeing me play this game, it's gonna be different. So, yeah. But I can at least try to give you advice or let you learn about the game, whether it's learning from my mistakes or learning from the fact that I may be wrong, and so you're like, wow, I'm not gonna get it wrong like Jordan. So, that's the experience that you're probably gonna find on this channel. But there are times when I give you advice that I think is not bad to listen to, so... Also, I just took burns to the face. I shouldn't have. Because I should have braced, if nothing else, but with this now, I guess we're just gonna rush this a bit. Or not. And I think I can run from this guy, right? Yeah, I can. And we're gonna rest for the rest of this mystery, because it's free, and we have burns, so we're gonna be taking upwards of 3 reason damage. No, wait, we have Kana. We're perfectly fine. I completely forgot about that. Now, we have a 10% chance of hitting a triple boost, or 40% chance of hitting a triple boost attack. So you know what? We're just gonna prep strong here. 15 minutes down to a Basarios because of early dual blades. Yeah. At that point, again, a lot of people like to look at experiences that are negative especially in MMORPGs in a negative way. I think I've also... Bye. Oh, goodness. Bye. But I think I have learned to just love, not the misery, but the funnies that happen. Whether it's someone carding in Monster Hunter or someone getting hit by an AoE in FF14. Also, we're probably about to die here. I think I can Desperate... I don't think I can, actually. Let's find out how much this does. 12 HP. Well, hey. But yeah, are you saying you were using dual blades and bounced, or were you saying that someone was using dual blades and kept bouncing? But either way, yeah. Either way, what I'm trying to say is you take the licks as they come, and again, you would rather, you know... I think you would normally rather... Oh my goodness, Lucky Bat. Do I want to enter Recluse like this? I don't want to. Yeah, I don't think I actually can, so we're gonna take arms instead. And yeah, basically, what I'm trying to say is if the alternative is, you know, being frustrated with the game, you might as well try to find joy in it. So... And yeah, okay, yeah, you mean, yeah, just progging through Monster Hunter. Which, in the case, again, from my experience, when you're progging through, you get to choose that raw damage tree weapon trees, or you try to go for sharpness, or you go to the normal. Well, what the game usually tries to push you towards is the sharper weapons. But Either way, you're probably going to be bouncing here and there, because sometimes monsters have mechanics, as people have been finding out recently. And so when monsters have mechanics, even as simple as, hey, they have armor on this areas, and you're just going to bounce off, know that that's going to happen, then yeah. Otherwise, I keep losing reason here, and that's not good. I think I get, yeah, I have to trade stamina for a reason at some point here. Do I even get to? The answer is yes. And I will move on. Yeah, your main dual blades, as I said before, I primarily stick to SNS. I do like to play, after a certain point, I mean, it's been a long time, and I've always valued this as well, but learning to play, or learning to branch out at least to play every weapon, in fighting game turns is playing more characters than one, in other terms, I mean, I'm not saying that that's the way you have to go, but knowing the ups and downs, and in Monster Hunter, I mean, again, well, actually, there is, because knowing what another weapon is doing, especially when you're in a team, whether it's by yourself or when you're playing with others, lets you in on being able to capitalize on things. Like, for example, obviously, if someone is playing with the hammer, or you're playing with the hammer, you're probably going for hammer vulnerable areas, just how weaknesses work in Monster Hunter. Certain areas are more vulnerable to certain types, and so therefore you would probably be doing it. But if I say this because it's much more clear in my head since I've recently watched or gone through my Behemoth videos, and it's kind of being aware of where other people are. If for no other reason, then you're not tripping them up, but that's part of the reason, not tripping up other people as you're swinging your weapon around. Or in a more pessimistic way, as I pretty much die here. Yeah, I have no way to survive this. I don't think I even get to dodge. Also, I never got rid of these burns, but we can't dodge into a sever, so I guess what I'm actually going to do is guess the ritual. And if we don't get it right, we die. One ritual move right. Well, bye. We got 3 ritual moves right, but yeah, anywho. But yeah, being aware, I will, and depending on your weapon, because some weapons are obviously slower and faster than others. Obviously, as an SNS player, it's very, you can, and more than a few, like, majority of the Monster Hunter weapons are pretty fast in general, if you're trying to switch around and do things, but Sword and Shield is definitely in that category, so if I see someone targeting the area, and I know we both don't have immunity, for whatever reason, then yes, you want to be able to be aware and switch when necessary, either switching to hit another body part or switching your style of attack so that you're not tripping people up. Thankfully, in World, SNS has hop back charge slash, so it was less of an issue for me because hop back charge slash usually dives so deep into the monster that you're not hitting anyone, and it is the knockback immune move, so I didn't need to slot into knockback immunity. You would play Hunting Horde for blunt damage, but it's not really playable alone. Yeah, obviously it's a lot of it is providing utility for a party, so in that regard, as I forget to set the illegal den again, it obviously provides more value in a party of hunters, but that's not to say that it can't do good damage itself, as Hunting Horde, or people who can play Hunting Horde would let you know. But as we're in History Club, we're just going to sit here for a moment and see what happens. But at the same time, yes, you do want to be with others when you're playing Hunting Horde. But at the same time, in reverse, if people are not being efficient with their weapons, you get less Hunting Horde value, oddly enough. So you can play Hunting Horde well in a party, but if your party is not pulling its weight, you get less value, obviously. But if you don't know what I mean, the very obvious thing is like making use of your buffs, and if people are not making use of your buffs effectively, then you don't get any value. You get less value, it turns out. So, hey, and at that point you kind of get greedy for damage, but that doesn't mean you don't use the that doesn't mean you don't sing with the Hunting Horde. Also, I forgot to equip the Lucky Bat, but I don't think it matters because we're gonna be rolling on 90% kicks anyway. But yeah, and it's something that, as I move back into the topic of, hitting people around, upswing is one thing, but that goes into, being aware of where you need to be at. Again, for being SNS is less of an issue, and in fact, doing upswings with weapons is usually an odd choice for times when you would upswing someone, and that would normally happen when a monster is knocked down. Otherwise, when the monster is up and about, you're probably not going to get upswinged, in my opinion. Actually, have I ever been upswinged playing solo queue or just randomly with other people? I don't think no, right? I think the answer is no. No. I would have to say no from my experience in World, all throughout World. Also, speaking of robots, actually streamed this game on this platform a few days ago, and no issues far with this with school and blurring. Yeah, so I mean, yeah. Again, I don't doubt it. Just being safe, though. Also, that's right, we're on Azal. Again, no, I don't doubt it, because nothing has happened to anyone who's played it. At this point, though, it's just become a habit. I mean, I guess I might as well maybe stop, but now that I've started doing it, I mean, if I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't. That's why I think there have been a few streams where I've missed on blurring it, but I left it in because, you know, it's kind of reasonable. If we're going by YouTube's own rules of, again, if I'm trying to inform people, I think it's EDSF. Am I getting that right? I'm not sure, but you get the point. It's letting people know when things are in context in World of Horror. It's not like it's there for no reason, right? It does serve a purpose in the lore and setting of World of Horror, is what I'm trying to say. So, clap, clap, bow, bow. Equip the Lucky Bat, even though all we're really doing is casting Ghostly Sphere, but let's not spend doom. Clap, clap, bow, bow. Move away. When a teacher blindly didn't recognize the boss, like, well, we'll see what happens. Again, I only did it because I realized as other people were playing it, and they commented that it, you know, it has a shape, but at the same time, again, I don't really... It's not really like... Again, because even I said, even before that moment, when I saw someone else do it, I went through teacher, and I was like, I didn't even recognize that at first. But that's kind of a me thing as well, I understand, so that's why I just tend to play on the safe side. As someone who has also played other games on this channel, but you know. Again, in the context of a video game, I think people get a pass. It's just that robots don't know the difference sometimes, obviously, as we know. And if you don't know, just know that robots have done weird things before. It's gotten better with recent days, whether for the good, whether for better or worse, who's to say, but usually robots get it right. It's just that you cannot... I don't think you would usually want to gamble. So yeah. I could say a lot more on this subject, but at that point it would be a speculation here and there. And I don't want to spread misinformation. But I could still talk about it if it's in the interest of you know, talking philosophically about things. Also, we do have nails into ward. So I've not been paying attention to Azal at all, actually. So it's I've thankfully been dodging a lot of rules that I can dodge. That being said, we have nails into ward, right? So, I mean, I could set the police patrols to the school. I'm actually going to set them to the hospital for the purposes of ward later on. Also, we're sitting on a few items. Should probably equip the Demon Mask, but in the interest of Ghostly Spear, I think I get more out of Ghostly Spear. We're about to find out. And you know, now that I'm looking at this and thinking about it, as I also need to remember to do a thing, I just realized that I have not done a thing. That's fine, kind of, but we'll cast Ghostly Spear once, and then hopefully prep attack, yeah. My goodness, does Yumiko suffer under Zektast, but, you know, that's just Yumiko stuff. But yes, I focus on other parts of this stream. And I slowly deal with my... Oh, I just raised the threat level for no reason. Well, now I definitely need to keep the police patrols at the hospital. This run is more than survivable. It's just a matter of whether or not I do Azal things, which I'm going to check now. Injury, ally, curse. And I think I have, like, Kana with me, right? Yeah, I have Kana with me, so Kana will pay themselves off. And we'll move on. Yeah, so receiving an extra 6% Doom effectively right now as Kana on top of whatever Doom I took is perfectly fine. Because the damage mitigation will more than make up for... The extra Doom is helpful on Eldritch Parasite, where my HP is vastly limited. But we shouldn't need to actually handcuff this encounter, so we'll instead meet Cleaver Throw into a 2-turn. Actually, I think I 2-turned him anyway, but... optimization issues. So, 4th Mystery, 51% Doom. But that could all change at the drop of an experience rule on Azal. So, let's stay careful here. There's the experience rule, by the way. And yeah, we just eat whatever we eat here. It's probably going to be like 7% Doom if we're including Kana. But fair enough. As long as we don't run away from this boss, we should be perfectly... Actually, I can just Ghostly Spear if I want to. But we're probably going to handcuff. For the purposes of saving on max stamina / number of Ghostly Spear casts. So yeah. But anywho, yeah, if I get back into Monster Hunter someday, it'll be someday. But definitely not in the next 3 to 6 months. Unless something really weird happens. But we'll see, won't we? Also, I know I'm on my 4th mystery, but I'm a bit scared of my stamina being at 15 right now, because 2 bad events and my stamina will be below the lighthouse threshold. Especially if I never get my strength to 8, so I am being a bit careful here. Double lucky stuff, so my luck is at 10 right now. And I think I lose 1 reason here, because we heal reason, but we don't heal reason, instead we take penalty damage. Funny enough. But we'll move on. But yeah, Yumiko in general, I know we have Kana with us, so it's kind of, imbalanced at the moment, but I think as I continue playing Yumiko more and more, Yumiko is definitely on the lower end of the which characters are good spectrum, in my mind. Because Yumiko depends a lot on her strength being pristine, on Harbinger anyway. On Harbinger, because of that -1 strength, Yumiko has trouble in situations where characters would she has more trouble in situations where other characters normally would still be in trouble, but it's worse in Yumiko's case, is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, if the Lucky Bat is bad for whatever reason, we just happen to, the experience rule is the experience rule. None of this is really going to help us, and we're probably not going to hit level... We'll see what happens, but we're not doing well right now. I didn't check my lighthouse, but you get the point. We're not in a good place. But we'll see. Yumiko, again, there's a lot of contributing factors. Swing and hit being the thing to do. 10 days and you have the yellow bunny. That's right. I need to do that. I think I think that I still have enough badges to last the time that I'm planning for. But we'll see. Because I think after the yellow bunny, there's 1 more. And I think it's for a complete year, I believe. But we'll see, won't we? I mean, I think you think even as a non-creator, you can check what the tiers look like, but what I'm trying to say is I have things prepared for at least a year. What I don't have prepared is, what happens when things go really well for me, but that, if things are going if and when things go really well for me, I shouldn't be in a position to complain regardless. Also, I can fight this mad janitor, so, you know what, we will actually fight him. We will actually fight him. Unless I run out of Ghostly Spear cast. Then I'm going to figure out what I do. But I know we get 16 damage on demand. So we should be okay. We get the Fire Axe as well, but I didn't really need it. Now, our Doom shooting up through the roof like that isn't great, because I think I held on to funds and Kana, but that's the price we pay. And I think, funny enough, we still should survive no matter what. Well, theoretically, we do survive. If I make a mistake on my second checks, then yes, I do die. But the point is that I would have succeeded this run if I remembered my second encounters. But we'll see if I actually passed them or not, right? So we do have the second encounter check if we have the 6th floor. We have the second mystery check. Do we have the 6th floor? Yes, we do. So here's hoping I remember my second encounter, because otherwise we will die. I took Kana, and I think I took... I want to say Nails. It was not. It was probably Vigil. Well, I'm dead, but don't let it be said that I didn't try my best, even though I was kind of just going out of my way to, just do whatever. But without further ado, as we proceed to misery parasite ourselves down, I could have let go of Kana, knowing I didn't have Takshisan. There are a whole host of things I could have done, but as we prepare for Knight Errant attack, yeah, I think in general, usually Yumiko has a bit of trouble. She has the cards stacked against her, is what I'm trying to say. So, on runs where it is even worse, it's usually just worse for Yumiko than it is for most characters, funny enough. And then part of that is that all of Yumiko's stats are naturally lower. The makeup is supposed to be swing and hit, but if you don't get swing and hit, then you just have a miserable time. Strength, knowledge, second encounter, second mystery, charisma, and lights. And this will probably be our last run. Again, I usually want to make my streams up to 2 hours, but at this point, again, this month is funny. I need to keep saying that. And we'll figure out. I mean, theoretically speaking, you could just play with custom characters. There are not a lot of things in game, aside from a few achievements, that stop you from playing characters differently. It's like, basically, if we make a custom character that's just Yumiko, yeah, you miss out on a few things like the baseball for prep item. You miss out... no, I think that's pretty much it, right? I'm trying to think of things that you miss out on. There are certain base characters like Toshiaki, Miku with Adrenaline, because Adrenaline is not part of any perk pack, so you just have to give Miku Adrenaline immediately, I think. There are things you miss out on, but again, there's not a lot the game limits you on in terms of why you need to be playing a certain character. The only real thing that I think the thing that you would be the most limited on, aside from challenges, is Yashiro's Reign of Spiders challenge, where you have to be playing as Yashiro. So, there are minute details here and there, like I said, but other than that, there's not really much else. Aside from character, and the main thing is character-specific things like swing and hit is not part of any perk pack, so you'd have trouble with that. Toshiaki's Necronomicon pages are not part of that. So basically, the short answer is no. We can't balance the characters, but I would also say yes, because you could just make a custom character that's just the character. You're just missing certain parts of certain characters if you do that. Like, Ayaka's perks are not part of any perk packs, but you would just have to give them to Ayaka, but starting off with Blood Mania, Eldritch Possession, or Doom Effigy would be a heck of a thing to do. You can emulate character events by just adding linked events to characters. Let's see, Kyrie, I don't think there's anything... So let's actually just go through the characters as I'm autopiloting here for a moment. So you can just do Kyrie. I don't think there's anything specific about Kyrie. Aside from the fact that, in general, actually, for most base characters, sometimes base characters have quote-unquote perk packs that are not emulatable on their own. Some of them do. I think some of them may do, but in general, like I said, Miku has Adrenaline, Looting, Pickpocket, and Doomed already, which are not, like, you can't emulate. Mimi has, I think... Again, you get what I'm trying to say. Because I can't think of it off the top of my head. But if you try to put in 2 perk packs with a custom character, you can try to get as close as you can to a base character as possible. But some of characters actually have perks that belong to more than 2 perk packs, is what I'm trying to say. As we take a bunch of damage here. But yeah, not much else to say about that. Yeah, in a way, yes, but ultimately, no, is what I'm trying to say. But that's, I mean, I've kind of worked towards otherwise, because I have put out a custom Nurse Miku. Have I put out Nurse Miku to the mods and plus? I think it's still just in the mod channel, if I last recall. But anywho, we would have actually died to that apartment stalker encounter, as this is our second encounter, but we had Kana with us at that moment, so we were fine. But yeah, I did make Nurse Miku, who was basically Mimi, but Miku. So it's Nurse Miku starts with Mayhem, which is a status you can give. And I think I gave her something else, but I can't remember. And I did do a video on it as well. I think I put it on Discord, it's just not in the repository. So, anywho. But part of the point for that, along with some other special featured videos, was that you can give them things like Mayhem. Mayhem is not a perk that is available by Perk Pack, but because of the bonus two thing system that you can add to characters, you can give them things that, you know, are coded in the game, as long as you know how to look for them. Like the Switch, well, I think the Switchblade is really, you could get somewhere, but other things that are mostly bugged, but if they work in-game, then you can give them to a custom character, like Toshiaki perks, like the Necronomicon, like Blood Mania, Eldritch Possession, Doom Effigy, like Swing and Hit, like Dodge Maneuver. You can give someone a challenge status and they would have to deal with it. The Cookbook, so on and so forth. Which brings me to believe, which leads me to think about the fact that I have not given a character a cookbook yet, but you know, nice 8 luck, by the way, rolled a 10, but anywho. Well, if nothing else, I do have to be proud of the fact that I usually like to keep my streams minimum 1 hour, but at 90 minutes is my compromise, usually. If it's less than 90, if a stream is ever less than 90 minutes, there's usually a reason for it. Or a more urgent reason for it. But anywho. So we'll prepare to censor this just out of habit, but you don't usually need to. I mean, I wouldn't blame anyone for not doing so, what I'm trying to say. But as we missed that attack, I guess we are just going to swing for the fences here. While throwing the baseball bat. I wouldn't have needed to, but we missed that attack. That's how important not missing was there. But as we throw the sensor up, can we even brace? I don't think we can. No, we just have to eat this in the face, don't we? So we eat about 4 Doom, but we could eat a Badly Bleeding. I don't know if that's a bug or not. Badly Bleeding has now become the bug status effect. If I see myself get Badly Bleeding in an encounter, I consider it a bug. For those who don't know why, it's a gimmick in my yeah, for those who don't know why, it's because before 1.0, there was a major update that came out that introduced a bug where enemies just did, as I take the sensor off, or it should be taken off now, where certain enemies, usually newer ones, gave you Badly Bleeding for no reason. Like the boss of Flood, that was the bad one. Which is why I'm just so used to bracing in Flood, but you get the point. Badly Bleeding was a bug that was given to you while fighting certain encounters, and it was a bug. And so now whenever I see it on a new enemy, or newer enemy, I just assume it's a bug. Shrug. I'm shrugging in real life as I say that. But anywho, Star, Reflection, I could just grab the Cursed Scissors might actually be better for me at this point. Yeah, I'm actually going to take the Cursed Scissors. Relatively low Doom increase for a lot of gain, and well, even Inspiring Novel, because that's right, we're on Knight Errant. We're going to take the Doom hit, but I think it's worth it. Because we can't seem to get our strength is at 5 now, but it definitely doesn't feel good. So, yeah, we're just going to take the Knight Errant penalty, and we'll move on with life. Now, we should be able to one-tap never mind, I don't have Swing and Hit yet, that's right. What did I hit? What did I get? I took Haunting Dreams. Also, we're still Badly Bleeding, so oops, but we'll deal with it. We do have a Lump of Flesh, so we still have Stamina Healing when need be. It's just that I am slowly losing my HP, so hey. But yeah, without further ado, so I don't want to... If I end up dying, I'll just end the stream as quick as possible. So please subscribe to the channel. We're about to reach 1,000 subscribers, which makes me really happy. Thank you very much. I'm much obliged. But also, I'm going to be putting out a Stardew Valley video later out. I'm pretty much going to do a Stardew Valley video every day if possible. But we'll see. If I can't, I will obviously let you know, which is why it would be helpful to subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on, because if a video does not appear one day, I usually make a post explaining why. I won't just go radio silent. Sometimes I do, most of the time I don't. You wanted to ask, do you have an answer to why Metamorphosis boss does double damage randomly? I feel like I answered that before, but I don't remember what my answer was. Aside from it just being a bug, but I feel like I figured out why though, but I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. But anywho, at this point, the short answer is it's a bug. But there was something very specific that I feel like that triggered it. I just don't remember what it was. Anywho. But yeah, at this point, it's essentially, you just chalk it up to it's a bug. Yeah. So, if nothing else, I mean, usually I'm bracing for that boss anyway, but I feel like there was a very specific trigger for it. I just can't replicate the bug if we're talking more in testing terms. But anywho. Do I just want to take my 2-turn here? We're in nails. And I have a little... I'm also still badly bleeding, by the way, so that's a mistake I've made. But I'm trying to think. I can't remember at the moment. I feel like I did have an answer. I just forgot about it. But anywho, if I did, I did. It'd probably exist on my channel somewhere, but I wouldn't suffer anyone to go through. For that reason. I know more than... I know there... You know, just to talk off topic, there are people who comb through a channel and stream looking for any juicy bits, but it's like, at that point... I mean, it's not exactly a crime. I'm just saying that you are in the wrong at some point. But if you're coming through to look for, you know, for a good reason, then yes. But in this case, it's a good reason, because it's... I'm trying to remember the reason why a bug triggers. And I don't remember. So that makes me... that kind of... I'm like, I can't remember. Also, this is really unfortunate. We're 1 damage off. I guess I can brace. But then I'd have to be taking a risk. Either way, though. So 92, 92. And I missed one of the 92%. What a way to end the stream, if nothing else. But yeah, I'll be thinking about that, if nothing else. Otherwise, yeah, please subscribe to the channel if you want to help my stream at any turn. We'll close out the stream in the next minute or two, unless someone has a request for a run. But I will... Yeah, if you don't have any requests, we'll close out the stream. Oh, RNG is so RNG, by the way. 92%! What are the odds of missing that? I want to calculate that really quickly, because I had to hit 92% 3 times in a row. Those are the odds we're working with. So 92.92... times itself 3 times, 77.86% chance of hitting all 3 attacks, and I missed one. So yeah, if you're hungry and do things, I just want to close out. The only things I really need to say if you want to listen before you leave is that Stardew Valley video is coming out within 6 to 10 hours ish. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, because that would help out the most. Otherwise, memberships are open for about $3 a month, and a lot of other things. Otherwise, you watching my channel, leaving comments, you know where to reach me. Leave a comment. I'm available through Discord as well, as long as you're not a robot, and we'll be happy. But otherwise, other plans, I haven't been actually able to do as much as I wanted to. Still working on a custom character, but other than that, I still want to do game development as well. I just have been really busy taking care of other things, which are just as important. But yeah, without further ado, though, not really much else to talk about. I won't hold you up any longer, so thank you for watching, and I will see you when I see you, if I can type in chat correctly, because I almost said thanks for watching. But yeah, if you have other things to do, go do other things. Go live your life, stay safe, and I hope you have a fun time with me in the future. So thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye!